The average residential flood claim in North America is over $40,000. The component standing between your basement and that flood is a $200 plastic pump with a 7-year lifespan in a hole in your floor. Once you see what that pump was put there to substitute for, you cannot unsee it. Old basements did not have sump pumps, and they stayed dry for 100 years without a single moving part. Today I'll show you what those old houses had, what was deliberately removed before you bought yours, who is responsible, and the one rule that saves you from 2 feet of water at 4 a.m. Think back to the last pre-1960 basement you stood in. Low ceiling, bad light, stone or brick walls and pale mortar, no dimple membrane, no sump pit, no humming pump. That basement should be flooded. 60 years of leaking roofs, shifting grading, moving water table. But it is dry. Not damp. Dry. The construction industry's phrase for what kept it that way tells you everything. Pumping to daylight. Water moved by gravity, downhill, to a creek or ditch or downslope outlet, emerging into open air. Daylight. No pump, no electricity, no plastic pit. That engineering worked for a century without a service call. It was deliberately removed from modern construction. The reason is the part nobody in the sales center will mention. Failure point 1. The grade. The International Residential Code, Section R401.3, requires a minimum fall of 6 inches over the first 10 feet from your foundation wall. That is the code. Almost no production-built lot meets it after 2 winters. Here is why. Volume builders backfill with whatever soil they dug out of the basement hole, usually clay, heavy soil that holds water against your wall. The crews do not mechanically compact it because compaction is unpaid time. The first rainy season after you close, the backfill settles. The grade you saw at the walkthrough goes negative. Water flows toward your foundation instead of away. Settlement is excluded from most builder warranties as maintenance, not a defect. Regrading costs $3,000 to $8,000, and the builder finished in your municipality 4 years ago. Failure point 2 sits 1 step below your basement floor. The perimeter drain. For 150 years, the drain around a foundation discharged to daylight. Henry Flagg. French wrote the book on it in 1859. Clay tiles ran around the footing, gathered groundwater, and carried it by gravity to open air. The perimeter drain in a new build does not go anywhere near daylight. On a flat suburban subdivision lot, which production builders prefer because flat land is cheaper, drainage to daylight is geographically impossible, so the discharge point was moved inside the basement, to a pit, with a pump in it. That is the entire system change. Retrofitting a real daylight drain on a flat lot foundation runs $5,000 to $15,000, if the geography even allows it. But the costliest failure point is a component cheaper than running shoes. We'll get there. Failure point 3. The cold joint. Almost no homeowner knows the term. Every contractor does. Modern poured foundations are not poured in one piece. The footing, the wide horizontal slab at the base, goes in first. Then the workers wait, hours, sometimes days. Then the wall is poured on top of the already cured footing. The seam where wet concrete meets cured concrete is the cold joint. Concrete does not chemically bond to already cured concrete. It is a physical seam in your foundation and the single most common groundwater entry point in modern construction. Old stone foundations had no such seam. Every course was laid into wet mortar that bonded uniformly. Repairing a leaking cold joint from the inside costs $4,000 to $10,000. The system meant to manage that inevitable seepage is next. Failure point 4, the sump pump. The part this whole story has been building to. The unit retails for $200 to $400. Average lifespan with normal use is 7 to 10 years. With frequent operation, 5 to 7 years. The sump pump fails most reliably during power outages, which happen during the same storms that cause flooding. The system installed to protect your basement from flooding fails specifically at the moment flooding occurs. That is not a bug. That is the design. Substituting a $200 pump for proper site engineering, drainage to daylight, compacted backfill, deep footings, the passive system that worked for a century, saves the builder $2,000 to $5,000 per house across a 500-home subdivision that is $1 to $2.5 million pocketed. The FEMA average flood claim is over $40,000, one $200 component. 7-year lifespan, fails on schedule, built to outlast the warranty, not the mortgage. So who is responsible? The answer is not a mystery. It is worse than you expect. Number 3. New construction, but only on a sloped lot where the perimeter drain can discharge to daylight by gravity. Ask the sales rep exactly where the drain discharges. If the answer is the sump pit, walk away. That is the question they do not expect. And the answer is the entire spec sheet. Volume builders specified the pump-based system not because pumps are better, but because pumps transfer the failure risk from the builder's balance sheet to the homeowner's basement. Mattamy, Leonard, D.R. Horton, Brookfield. These are not craftsmen. They are logistics companies pouring foundations at the cheapest spec the code allows. The municipal inspector is supposed to verify drainage at final inspection. In most jurisdictions, inspectors check a fraction of lots and never return after closing to see whether settlement reversed the grade. The IRC code is mandatory. Enforcement is not. A code that is not enforced is a suggestion the industry agreed to ignore. So what is actually worth your money? Number 2. Pre-1960, brick or stone foundation. Lime mortar is sacrificial and breathable, with a permeability rating around 70. Water moves through, evaporates, and the mortar self-heals. Modern Portland cement has a permeability near 0. When water cannot get out, it stays in. Number 1. The best waterproofing system in your house is the one with no moving parts. A 1955 stone foundation on a hillside with a clay tile draining to a creek is drier than a 2022 poured concrete basement with a sump pump. Your insurance company already knows this. 60 years of claims data does not lie. If you buy new construction anyway, hire an independent surveyor to verify the 6 inches in 10 feet grade after the first winter. Before your warranty expires, $400 to $600. The only moment when settlement can still be called a defect. Here is the rule. A basement that needs a pump to stay dry has already been built to fail. A basement that does not need one was built right the first time. The builder's incentive is to pass inspection. Yours is to not wake up to 2 feet of water at 4 a.m. during a thunderstorm. Those incentives have never aligned. Next week, we cover the spray foam attic insulation in millions of new North American homes. There is a specific product class linked to chronic indoor air quality complaints, and we are naming the formulation. Subscribe so you do not miss it.